Hey everyone, Darren here, and welcome back to Cities Skylines. Now in the last episode, I redesigned the metro system of downtown Swords to be a bit more flexible for our passengers. Now what this means is that no longer is it a singular, windy tunnel, but instead we've now got a small enclosed loop with crossover points to other lines, and this should allow it to be a little bit more scalable in the future. And while we didn't see an immediate improvement in terms of traffic flow, the rate of passengers has certainly increased quite a bit, and the downtown city traffic does seem to be slightly improved. Now today, I'm going to be filling out two specific areas downtown, and then creating an overground metro line to take the passengers straight out to our waterfront industrial area, hopefully again, relieving some of that traffic. So let's begin. Alright ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the thriving City of Swords, and we're actually just at the precipice of crossing over to 40,000 population, a new milestone in this playthrough. And of course that's because as we educate our citizens, some of these buildings are getting upgraded, and with the realistic population mod, you can go from a relatively mid-tier skyscraper to one that's really high off the ground, of course allowing for many more households in each one. So you can go from having about 20 households to having 60, which is going to have like 100 people basically moving in, and we've just had that. So it's interesting, without zoning anything else, we still have the capacity with the space that we've given them for thousands of more people to move in, especially in this new district here, Prospect. So we still have a lot of smaller buildings here waiting for these citizens to get their education and to I guess increase the wealth of the general area, and then leveling up the buildings as a whole. So today I'm really excited to get started in this episode because I've actually made a little to-do list of all the various things I want to get done. Don't want to get sidetracked, no pun intended, as we will be building tracks themselves. And yeah, just to prevent myself, again, getting derailed, we'll actually just get started. So let's get started on this area here. Oh, actually, it's the crack of dawn, so I thought I would just mention, you know, the strain that's on our transport services right now. 74% traffic flow, and that's going to be around the worst time of day that we'll have traffic, you know, in the evenings, late evenings and in the early mornings. So when we have the most traffic. So 73, 74, you know, obviously want to get that number up. It's the toll booth here in the roundabout's largely been solved, actually, in terms of it was getting very backed up, and it doesn't seem to ever do that anymore. We're going to try and reduce the traffic here significantly by building that overground parallel to this road and heading all the way out to Shoreline. So that's the idea. So one of the ways that I helped reduce the traffic here was I just added some lane connections between the road going into the toll booth from the roundabout, mostly because a lot of people are coming over this way, and if they're on that outside lane, they could just split into one of these three, and if they're on the inside lane, which is a bit more rare to be on the inside lane, they're only going into one. So that actually just seemed to help things a lot. Things are getting a bit unnecessarily backed up because of that. I haven't really done anything else, and it's just kind of worked itself out, you know, it's not really getting that much more backed up anymore. Alright, so to get started over here, I had asked you guys several times what to do, and a few people mentioned, you know, services, big hospital, big police station, that kind of thing. So we actually have a police headquarters down here next to the bank, a small bank, and it's a police headquarters. I always feel like it's small, but it is one of the biggest you can get, right? I think, unless you go for the high capacity one, which is this one, and even that's not that big in terms of its visuals. So that's over there, that's fine, but we do have room for a hospital and probably a fire station, which is what I've kind of spec'd this area for. So we're going to start with the hospital, just a standard looking one. I had to look through the high capacity one, it's a bit too big. We might use that in the future, but I don't even think we're going to get close to filling up this one. I'm happy to use this one. So we'll just go with the standard hospital, 65,000. Boom. Treats patients with any diseases or injury. And what do we have here? A little ambulance coming out. Let's go with the large ambulance for this place. I think it would look a bit nicer. Now, alongside that, we're going to go with the high-capacity fire station. Mostly using high capacity, not because I think we'll need it, just because I think it looks pretty cool. So I'll stick it in right there. 95,000. People are loving it. 1,920 upkeep per week. This is what's really going to bite us in the ass, is all the upkeep per week. 2,400 upkeep per week for that hospital. So, next then, we want to build a little road system around this. So we'll start with the 2-lane road with trees. Why not? Bring it in from here. Just going to use a little bit of Anarchy just to nudge around that side bit there. And turn that off then. I feel like I'm sticking to the grid. I'm not breaking the rules too much on that one. So, the next thing I wanted to add in, I was having a look basically between episodes about what I could fill this area with and what would make the most sense. So I was looking at the concerts pack, the DLC for that. And we have the Media Broadcast Building. It's a significant landmark, and it attracts people to see an impressive broadcast tower. Its impressive broadcast tower. Also, it increases the effectiveness of advertisement campaigns by 20%. So I think that basically when you build out festival areas in the fan clubs, or the fan sites, that you can run these music festivals, and then they have an attractiveness rating, and you can boost that around the media broadcast building, and the building has a huge range. So I think having it somewhere here is actually quite central to where we're going to have a lot of people living, right? So there's residential area here, here, and up on this side, and this kind of area does cross over with a lot of it. Not all of it, I guess, but a lot of it, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's shove it in. So I'm just going to place it right here. We'll flip it in just a moment, because I need to build the road out again. I'm going to grab this road here. Maybe, I don't know if we can quite get it to that little spot right there. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's finicky. Right, we got it. Again, we'll just do a little bit of Anarchy. Bring it right on to the edge, but not all the way. And we'll shape this with the Move It mod as well in just a moment. So now, I don't think it'd be a good idea to have it facing this busy tram/metro stop. So we're going to flip it and have it facing inside. So people have to come in this way to get to it. Similarly, the fire station, this might be a controversial one, but I'm going to face this inside as well, so that fire trucks have to come out that way. They're not piling onto the road that's already busy. I'd rather them have to make their way out. I know for an emergency service, that's a little strange to say, but I think it'll just work out better this way. We'll go with the standard fire truck. I think is fine for that. Alright, so let's just shape this area just ever so slightly. Alright, we'll just even that out. I think I'm going to just hide the markings. So the crossings do exist, they're just hidden. It's not the same as the TMPE hiding crossings, that does remove them. Logically, they're there. We're just going to hide them visually on the road, because I just don't think it's that necessary. Right, and then this is perfect for like a little pathway. So we just deleted a pathway that connects over from that station. This station to the high school. And we kind of want to put a path back in. Now, they could just use the actual road, but it's nice to have a dedicated path for slightly higher volume, and just a cleaner look to it. So let's go with pathways. Just grab a standard one. We can always upgrade it if we want to later. Turn off our grid. Something like that. Alright, so let's just shape this ever so slightly. We'll bring the hospital out by 2. Bring this in by 1, because that might have to move on the other side. And that's pretty good. Maybe we can close that gap just a bit more. Okay. So fairly seamless, I would say. Maybe we could raise this up just slightly. Alright, so. Yeah, okay. So next up, I'm going to add in a car park. I think that would kind of make sense here. And we're going to have a fairly large area covering car parks. So one here, I'll face it out or in. I suppose inside again. Then the next one is going to be along like this, and then another one. Oh yes, I wasn't sure if we'd fit that one in, but we do, or we can. So how are we looking here? Yeah, it's maybe ever so slightly creeping over the edge of the path. So just going to bring that in ever so slightly again, and push this one out the other side. Now, what we need are crossings on this. So people are going to park their car and then they need to walk, but if they want to cross the road, they can't. They'd have to loop all the way around. So we'll put in a little crossing point, maybe. I suppose having it somewhere here would probably make the most sense, because you can kind of get that is a crossing in effect. So maybe just around here. And then maybe another one somewhere here. Probably another one somewhere down here. Alright, so just little crossings to get to your media broadcast building. Alright, using the Move It tool, I could just see a discrepancy in the height. It isn't a totally flat area, so we'll just raise that using page up and page down. And we seem okay on this side. Okay. Alright, we still have a lot of area to work with. I was thinking of adding in taxi depots. Yeah, so let's grab this road again. In fact, I'm going to go with a slightly different one. We won't have the trees on this one, just grass. Just for a bit of variety. Turn back on the grid. We'll come straight down. Touch the edge, but don't go all the way. And then we can raise this back up. Right, so again, we've created another area for a nice little pathway to take people out of the car park, maybe. I don't know if they can do that. I think they probably can, but I'm not sure. Like, cars obviously have to drive in on the side that you're connected to. Maybe people can walk straight out the back. That'd be nice. We'll see. Okay, so for a taxi depot, just start somewhere like here. Come in this way. Alright, we'll grab our taxi depots. I'm going to add 2 more in. So one here. and one here. And their noise pollution, it's a little rough on some of the households here, but hopefully not too bad. I feel like it should be fairly minimal. Alright, we'll go with taxi cab and taxi cab. I don't really like the black taxi cabs. Bit too old-timey for me. What else could we do with this area? I suppose maybe just like little pathways to cut through. So we'll just build a very small curve. In fact, we'll just do a straight one and I can just move it. Turn off that grid for a moment. Just something like that. And then we'll just decorate the place with trees to kind of cover up this. Now, I'm actually going to bring this in. I was thinking you could join it, but I just don't think I should. I'm going to bring it all the way back in to look like a more unified little area. Also, we can get rid of the road markings here. They're not really needed. Now, I'm foreseeing problems with this, right? We already have a fairly busy road that these taxis, these fire trucks now, and potentially ambulances and things are going to be like, you know, clogging up the area a bit. So what I was thinking is perhaps if you're a taxi driver, you can only take a right turn, right? Because that says, you know, there's a median in this road, so it's awkward to cross over already. Also, there's something going on with this one. There we go. It's already a little awkward, but maybe it's just like, look, you guys just take the first right and just get out. Because this place on the left is always super busy with trams and things, so I want to declutter that. So now maybe we could do the same thing on the opposite side, so we just prevent crossing traffic for a bit. So again, select this one, say you can only turn right, right? So these guys can only turn right when they come out. People can join onto it, that's fine, but not from this side and not from that side, so we'll see how that goes. Now when it comes to emergency services, it's a bit more serious. I think they should be allowed to go anywhere. I don't know if this was a right-hand only turn, would they be allowed to? Because ambulances and fire trucks kind of don't always follow the rules, right? They can kind of do their own thing. So I don't know if that would work the same for them. Maybe it would. Not entirely sure. We'll just leave it just to be safe. If things are getting backed up, we can maybe change it. Okay, so let's grab the path again. Start down here. Just go all the way to the end. Kind of fill that area in. Yeah, so what I'd like to do, I guess, is just to straighten up this area maybe and clean it up. Bring this over to the side. Okay. And then starting from here, select these two buildings, select this, and we'll bring it all in. So I'm not selecting that node, because it's obviously the junction. Just going to bring this all in. And that's going to bend this road, or we can bend this road, I mean, to cover the rest. Only ever so slightly. Shouldn't really affect too much. And this is joined on naturally now as well, which is good. I think. Do we want that there? Yeah, I don't see why not. Alright. So there we go. So taxis are going to be piling out of here, I assume. So I'm being kind of confused with how our what our taxi situation is. So I'm really eager to see what happens with this. But we have 32 out of 32 in use. So it makes me think, well, we obviously need more, right? So that's why I'm putting down 2 more. Every time I check a taxi rank, it's always empty. So I assume everyone's on call all the time. But I also don't see people waiting, so I don't know. Do people normally wait there? Or is it just the taxis that wait for people? I'm not entirely sure. But I guess we'll find out. Now, I think to make this place look a little bit less grey, maybe we could brighten up those roads a bit. So if we go into our pathways, we've got all these different types, park paths and things. I don't really want to be layering them with trees all the time. Although, this road doesn't have any trees, so maybe the path could have trees here, actually. That might look nice. And we could go with the amusement park path. That can look kind of cool. What about this one? Just regular park path? Alright, let's try this one just really quickly. Upgrade this right here. Well, obviously with the tropical trees, that's a bit weird, so we'll just try it again. Is that a bit better? That's interesting. The texture doesn't seem to have... Oh, the road actually goes over. Oh, right. Yeah. That's fine. We'll just put it back where it was. So there we go. Let's try that again with this. It seems to be like clipping over for some reason. Don't know why. Yeah, that's weird. I've never seen it do that before, where it's... Maybe raise this? There we go. I think that's a bit better. We do have some trees spilling over, though, I guess, into the car park. So maybe I could just move the car park slightly over as well. And it's not really on a specific spot. It's right on the edge of a spot. A car parking spot, that is. Alright. Just bear with me 1 second. I just want to turn the music down a bit. Alright, we've switched it to the next tracks as well. Okay, so there we go. So, yeah, that was pretty quick, actually. Filled in the area. Looking good. Now, we could just clean it up ever so slightly. Just patch in some extra concrete where it makes sense. Where it's kind of part of a area that seems like it just would have been completely paved anyway. Yeah, that's all good. So yeah, again here, this could be the same sort of path, I think. I think that would probably look a bit better. And then we can always just stretch it out a bit. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, okay. Alright, there we go. It might be overkill on the car parks, I guess we'll see. But I'm pretty happy with how that looks overall. Oh yeah, we need a few extra trees just in here on the side. If I had a bit more time, I'd maybe put some extra things in there, like, I don't know, little park benches and tables and things. Alright, are we good to let time play? Is that area pretty much done? Did I flip the buildings? I'm pretty sure I did, right? I did all that. Okay, let time play. And we'll see how we get on. These guys should start upgrading, I feel like, because they're going to love having extra, like the media broadcast building and a few of these different things. And we should see taxis. There we go. Taxis are piling out. And we can see, if we just check on them, where are you going to go? Oh my god. Whoa, what? Oh my god, that's so ridiculous. That's so far. Okay, well that tells me that we need more taxi depots, especially on the other side of the city as well. Let's check some of these other cars and see where they're going. There's still more rolling out, actually. So, this is a different taxi. He's going to actually pick someone up from the agricultural farms. Okay. Well, interesting, I guess. We'll see if that lightens the load of traffic or if it adds to it. I don't know. Now, there was, to address some of the... While we're waiting for the area to... Oh, you can hear all the pings. Bing, 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 bing. So, 40,600 is what we're at now. We'll see how much we level up to. Or grow by. With just by the fact that we added more services and things in here. We didn't even add any actual residential areas. So, I have a couple things to talk about. So, if you've been watching the series for a while, you know that we use this road almost everywhere, this type of road here. So effectively what this road is it's 2 regular lanes, a bus and taxi lane, and then a bike lane. Right, so it's a 6-lane road with cycle lanes on the side. So you can kind of almost think of it as an 8-lane road, really, if you want to include those. But it's considered 6 lanes, 2 bike lanes either side as well, and 2 of the lanes are reserved for taxis and buses. So something I was finding, that's ridiculous, it was happening a lot, is that all sorts of cars were using the bus and taxi lane. And we had this problem before, right? These cars will use the lane. I don't mind taxis obviously using it, that's fine. But private cars and trucks and cargo and everything was using them. And that's because often they were dedicated like turning lanes. Which is active, by the way, in the TMPE settings. Anyway, so these were becoming like the lanes where people would use to turn. And long story short, I guess, I went around and tested out just banning those types of cars from using those lanes. So no longer can private cars or trucks use the bus and taxi lanes. But what that meant is I had to open up the inner lanes to allowing people to turn as well, right? If they couldn't previously. Because sometimes they couldn't. For instance, this here previously was just forward, and right. So you had everyone piling over onto this lane, which was slowing down the trams and just causing like longer and bigger backups. So now we've gone for the much more dangerous option, which is you can turn right here, but it means that a tram could keep going. Now, in the real world, that is a thing in certain places, but what it would typically be dictated by is traffic lights, right? A traffic light would let you know that you can go, but the tram can't. So trams would have their own traffic lights, those like little white ones. Now, I don't have the mental fortitude at the moment to kind of go through every single stop and set up specific lights for trams. It would just take a long time. So I'm instead just letting it kind of feel itself out, and it basically just works, right? Cars will behave, and sometimes you'll see them going through trams. Whatever. It's not a big deal, really. It's logically working how it would in the real world. It's just that the traffic lights aren't necessarily in place. But one thing I am going to do that I've noticed is backing up traffic a lot to add to this. So I've done that basically everywhere you see these roads. So everywhere there's like this purple type of road. If we just have a look at this. So that purple road, everywhere like that has now had their traffic banned. I think maybe certain instances like this stretch here, or maybe certain stretches out this way hasn't had it yet, but everywhere really that has buildings around it does, pretty much. So, and it's definitely eased congestion a lot, but it's not perfect. We still have situations where the lights turn green and then everyone stops because people are crossing the road at the same time. So I don't understand how the base game traffic lights are supposed to work, because it just doesn't seem like, it just basically seems like everyone stops and then everyone just goes. It's like a total free-for-all. So it's kind of crazy. So what I'm going to try out is setting up a timed traffic light, for instance, here. Do we need to set one up anywhere else? No, we'll just set one up here and we can copy and paste it if we need to. So set up a timed traffic light, add a step. And we're going to say, I don't know, the minimum time is going to be 10 seconds, I think, and then 20 seconds is the maximum time. And we'll turn on all the lights. So, like I said, if I had a bit more time, because think of all the time you'd need for every single junction in the game. It's a long time. But if I had a bit more time, could maybe go through this in a more granular detail. You know, flick a light to say trams can go. Flick a light to say, okay, the inside lanes can go. Flick a light to say anyone turning can go. Flick a light to say anyone walking can go. And then you just rotate those forward. And that would probably do what you needed to do. But we're just going to take the lazy option here, which is to say everyone can go. Okay, except for people. People cannot go right now. We'll actually turn this from auto to manual. Not that it really matters, but just to be sure. Click add, right? That's the first step. The first step is saying it's as good as having no traffic light, except for the fact that pedestrians cannot cross, which includes bike lanes. So we'll then say add another step. Now we're going to turn all the lights off and very simply just allow people to go. Right? Very simple, but we're only going to give them a very short amount of time. So your minimum time is going to be like 3. Maximum time is going to be like, I don't know, 6. You can get across the road pretty quick. Alright, and then we'll hit start. And we'll see how this goes. So we'll just let time play, let it flush out the first kind of couple of ones. And now we can just see people waiting. And this will allow traffic to largely figure itself out when they want to, where they want to go. And then at certain intervals, people then cross the road. And this should just prevent people stopping on the road because people are crossing. So you can see it's a pretty long time before then we get blobs of people crossing over and then traffic kind of resumes. Now, it's still a little chaotic, as we can see. So we'll try to clean this up. So without affecting any bus lanes, I'm going to say that you always have to turn right, you always have to go forward, you always have to go forward, and you always have to turn left, you always have to turn left, and you always have to turn right. We don't need to affect the bus lanes. Let them do whatever they want, because it's going to be trams and taxis and buses, obviously, if they're ever on it. They can kind of do whatever they want, or emergency vehicles. So let them handle themselves. All right, let's see if we've... Did I forget anything there? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I think we're good. Okay, cool. So just let time play. Speed it up just for a second. And I have a feeling this should heavily reduce the clutter that was happening at various junctions. So we could do this to a few different ones. I definitely want to do it one more time just up at this one. And we'll get to that in just... Holy crap. That is a building. That is a huge building. It's going from 25 workers to something that's probably going to have like hundreds. Alright, so let time play. Good. I already think it seems like relatively decluttered, but not perfect. So another thing as well, we want to lower the amount of crossings. Sorry, I keep clicking the wrong thing. It's this one. Get rid of that crossing. Get rid of that crossing. Alright. How many people in that building now? So it went from what, 25 to 250. So it's 10 times as big as it was. There's probably going to be a shortage of workers in that building, I would imagine. Alright, so the next one is to do it the same thing to this, and then we can move on and work on the overground. So, first off, we'll set up the time traffic light. I'll just do the same thing, right? The first step is going to be saying everything's on. And the individual crossings are off. We'll say, again, another longish time, right? Up to 20 seconds of just continuous traffic flow, and then just a few seconds of people crossing the road. Okay, so they've become activated. Alright, we'll start that as well. So we'll give it a bit of time. It might take, you know, a few cycles for this to all work itself out. Oh, and also then the very last thing is just connecting up those lane connections as well. This one's a bit more finicky, right? So this is a one-way road here. So for the lane connections, I suppose if you're in this one, you can go right, you can go left, or you can go straight. What else then? So if you're here, you can go right. That could be your only option, but you could also go left. No, not there. That's a silly mistake. Here, you can go straight or left. Here, you can go straight or right. That's totally fine. So similarly, and I would say actually this should be this left, not that one. So you're taking the closest left. Similar to this guy, you can go straight or right, and you can go straight or left. His left, their left. Is that it then? Does this give everyone a way to get out that way? Yeah, I think so. Remember, that's a one-way road there. So it's gonna... I don't know what the hell just happened there, but okay. What is going on? So did I not... Oh, I have to literally tell you that you can go straight across, even if you're a tram. I thought the tram's kind of... Yeah, you could go straight across. Oh, maybe it just... You know, at the interval that it happened, it got confused. In fact, just to prevent further confusion with that, just get rid of this and let it reappear later. Alright, so we'll give it a bit of time. We'll see if this was done correctly or not, but I think this should reduce traffic flow, or improve traffic flow in this area. And we'll see. So this has gone from being pretty much red all the time. This is still red up here. Yeah, it is a lot of people moving down one smaller street, but at least we've now taken the people out of the equation. So I still think it makes it better. And like I said, it's just a matter of time. I'm not saying this is perfect. I'm saying if I had more time, you know, I'd specifically say, okay, trams wait, these guys go, whatever. It's a bit more difficult for this side because you can't really say about trams to do on that side, but if your trams are traveling this way, you can tell them to wait. But we're just going to leave it. I think it's fine. Alright, so 2 little improvements, I think. Next up is going to be doing the overground. So my plan for the overground was to use this stop here. So we'll have... Actually, there's a couple changes I need to make based on feedback that you guys gave. You didn't like my pretty heavy turns here, and people were asking to rotate the metro station, which you can totally do. I forgot that you can kind of do that because you have to use the move it tool. Normally you can't. So we'll just rotate this, select it, 45-degree angle pretty much, something like that. And it does still work. I was thinking that you couldn't really do this because you wouldn't have a road connection, but it still does work, and it looks fine. It's only weird if you think of it as weird. If you just think of it as like, well, it's just angled, and it's totally fine. Just going to move it again just slightly down this way, a bit more central to the right. Something like that. Okay, so let's have a look underground. Great. So what we want to do is obviously smoothen all that out. So we'll grab our line tool, look underground, select here, select there. Smooth. Select here, select there. Smooth. Is that better? Everybody happy? Everybody's happy. Now, the stops are the same, so I think the connection will resume once we let time play. Yeah, so I think you just have to wait for trams to roll underneath. And then it should be okay. Just to wait for the next oncoming tram. Oh, maybe. Yeah, it's coming down now. Okay, it's hit its connection point and it's going on to the next one just fine. Have you linked it up? I don't know how you haven't linked it up, considering you just did it. Maybe we need to just remind it or something. You know what? I'll come back to it. We'll just leave it. Oh, there we go. It went away. Good. Alright. Man, heavy downpours. Heavy showers today in Swords. Okay, cool. So, now that we've corrected the shape of our loop, and also, by the way, I extended it out this way, like I said in the video before, that I would do. So that's all good now. And we have pretty high volume of people moving on these things. 1,400 are on the Victoria line that heads all the way out here. I've got about 400 going around the loop, east and west. Excuse me. Some people did say, like, the stops are really close together. I did that because people previously said the stops are too far apart, so I'm happy. I think they are very close. Arguably too close, I guess, but I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. Ideally, there'll probably be another one out here in the future, depending on what we build there. I'm actually... Well, I won't give away what I'm thinking, but yeah, we'll leave that. I have an idea of what I'm going to do there. Anyway, so... A bit strange, but what I'm planning to do is change this station to a parallel track and have a track running this way and joining out onto becoming an overground out this side. So let's get to it. So a bit more complicated. And then once that's done, then we can build out and fill out this area finally. So I'm just going to remove these trees for a moment, remove the path, and this station can go as well. That was a mistake. Just reconnect that. Okay. Just to prevent... You know what? We're just going to clean up the weather for a second and make it a little earlier in the day so we can see what we're doing. So the weather, just bring that intensity way down because it's more loud than anything. And just for a moment, I'm going to lock the intensity. Or sorry, lock that from happening. How do I do that? Can't remember how to do that. Must be in here. Weather. Advanced. Yeah. Rain and snow locked. Okay, so it's not going to rain anymore for a moment. Just let time play. Right, sunny, and we can see what we're doing. Okay. Transport. Metro. So before we can do this, we have to... Well, yeah, I think we have to do this, because I can't actually place this. Oh, I can. There's zone. I was going to say there was no zoning here, but there is. I thought this road didn't have any zoning on it, but it does. All right, so we'll stick it right around here. Okay, so we're a little off-center now, but we can just hopefully shape this and fix it. All right. So I'll roughly just add it myself, and then we'll let the line tool do the work for me. How do I go underground? So... Click this, page down, -12 if we can get there, and just hook that in. And we'll just hook this one in as well, very lazily, and then let the curve tool, like, shape it. Well, it's actually technically the line tool, I guess, but... Alright, so much smoother now. That one's an awkward one. You kind of do have to... Probably do this, yeah. Bit better. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. There we go. If your angles are too sharp, it actually won't travel. So you have to be careful. All right, cool. So there we go. So this is a bit of a transfer station. Now I'm going to make a second line. Either we'll come down, I suppose, this way and just go straight under, similarly to how this does. Or we could go over, follow the land here, and just go underneath this bit. I was actually thinking of building a station here and another one down here. Might be a bit overkill. Originally in my vision, I had just one, but then I thought, like, well, if it's running along this way, maybe it'd be good to have it here too. Yeah, I think I'll do that. All right, so we have a regular station here, metro station. And there's actually like a little bus stop right here, so it seems like a good spot for it. And then we'll need another one somewhere along here. That's the end station, really. Probably just move this, actually. I just didn't like the angle, so just click that. Bring it with me. A bit more like this. There we go. Okay. All right. So it's taking shape. So I'm thinking, actually, the tunnel's going to be here. It's going to where you come out. You just travel overground pretty much in a parallel line. Just for the moment, I'm going to get rid of this and this. So it's going to make people a little unhappy for a while in Butler, as some of their services have been removed. So let's start from this side, I suppose, probably a bit smarter. Okay. So I'm not sure how deep we need to go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it took me a little while to get that right, but once I'd learned how to use the parallel tool correctly, it made life a lot easier. So effectively, I always thought the parallel tool in the network multi-tool mod, so the network multi-tool mod has this mode here, the parallel, create parallel mode, and I always thought that it had to duplicate the road that you were going parallel to. So, you know, for instance, a highway, you'd have 2 stretches of highway. So I'd used it before for the highway, and I'd used it for train lines, but I'd never thought that, oh, you can have a different road type going parallel to another one. I don't know why I just didn't think of it. And basically how it works, just in case anyone doesn't know, I'm sure most people do, is you have to select the track first, or the road first, or whatever it is. Then you select the create parallel mode, and then you can place it next to whatever you want. So that's worked out a dream. You know, now we have this really nice, seamless sort of combination. In fact, we could just see a slight increase here. I don't know if there's much I can do about that. There we go. In elevation. But yeah, real seamless overground route, right? So our metro, our underground turns into an overground, and then it joins onto the first station here, and then another station down this way as we get closer over the shoreline. So this place is going to be redeveloped. I keep saying that. I'm putting it off because it's such a big challenge. I don't really fully know how I'm going to do it just yet. Either in a stream or I will do it in one big video, but keep putting that off. But I know that it's going to still be there, so we still have our station to come down this way. So let's hook up the first actual route. Now, we built this parallel track system here, and I don't know if our old system is reconnected. No, it doesn't seem like it. Let's see if we can drag this stop back over to its buddy. Cannot find path, even to here. Don't know why that is. Let's see. So this one right here, drag stop, drag it right there. Place this one back in. And then I think we just have to drag it again to link them. Seems linked to me. Click. Alright, cool. So do the same on this side. Drag this one over. Yeah, it won't do that one for some reason. Why not? Cannot find path. Yeah, it's not doing it. It should be a nice curve. I don't think there's a problem with the curve. You know what? Just redo it. Easiest way to do things. Just to, oh, I got rid of Victoria. Alright, we'll just redo them all. Okay, so create line. Add a stop. See, that works just fine. It's probably just me doing something a bit silly or the game doing something silly. One or the other. Alright, so that's completed. The next one is going to be right next to it, but going the other way. Okay. Completed. Then we have this one. Heading down to Victoria. And to Franklin Heights, really. And then coming back. Okay, so that line's completed, and now we've got this new one here. I'll start on the far side. And we're going to go to this stop here, which I guess is the Butler stop. They have their own stop now. And then the Shoreline stop. Then we just come back. It'd be nice to see the actual trains running overground. I haven't seen them before like that. Okay, so now that that's rehooked back up, so we have, this is going to be Carlo East. This is Carlo West. Victoria. And then, I guess, Shoreline. And we'll just color this one, color it yellow because it's like industry. Victoria, we'll color that back to being red. These can be blue because they're kind of like smaller closed loops. They also go to the central station actually, so there's that too. And then the very last thing, obviously we have to just make sure that they're using the right carriage or type. Metro with 500 please. Okay, so we'll see if this makes any difference whatsoever to the amount of people that want to get to work. We'll probably have to let time play for a while until they figure out their connections and stuff and reset the old lines that have been destroyed. How's this area doing? Yeah, we're seeing people use the car parks now a little bit. Got a tourist here. You can always spot the tourists. They have camper vans and stuff at the back of them. 157 visitors last week. That's okay. That's pretty good. 25 taxis in use, 13. That's good. Not seeing much buildup of traffic in either of these places either, which I'm happy to report. So that seems also quite good. Is there anyone... Sometimes I've got these glitches when I redo lanes. No, everything looks okay as well. 132 on the line. A lot of people waiting at these stops. 200, 188. Next one coming around with 43 on it right now. Pick up another 47. So we're up to 80 now.
We've got capacity for 52 once we get to the stop that has 300 people at it. Pick a bunch of people up here from the metro and the crossover spot. And a lot of people actually just get off here and then just immediately want to get off at this place. So again, I have to do some... Probably need to do my similar time traffic light thing here. So we're getting backed up a bit. And the lanes. We just did it over here and over here. And look at it. How good is that, right? It's better. It's definitely better. Not too bad. Reasonable, I would say. But yeah, it just needs to be done for some other major junctions. Now, this could probably just be copied, actually, thinking about it. So we go into our timed traffic light, click here, click copy, and just click this one. Boom. Pasted. And it's done. So that should do the same thing. So it's, again, just a free-for-all with traffic, but it limits how many people can cross the road. And that should keep things moving, relatively speaking. Also, you can see, look at this bastard in his pickup truck. He shouldn't be doing that. But I haven't put on the vehicle restrictions on this road. And that's probably another reason that we've got a little bit of slowdown. So we'll just say... I think I did that because of this station. I was like, yeah, maybe they should be allowed to use it. But let's just try it. So we'll just ban them from using the outer lanes. Again. And just see if that helps anything. What the hell is going on there? Did they all just... What is going on? I have no idea what just happened there. They're all getting in here? Oh, that was weird. It's like they got on the state... That's very strange. Never seen that one before. That's a new one. But yeah, with changing some of the rules on the road and stuff, it might have bugged this out because he's not moving anymore. So just get rid of him. Clear him out. Right, last thing. Might bug them out again, but we'll just grab the lane connectors. Why not? So we'll say you have to go straight. You have to take a right. You have to take a left. You have to take a right. You have to go straight. You have to take a left. And there we go. So we've got similar lane connections now as before. So hopefully this should just prevent people using the tram lane. So yeah, you're stuck as well, right? So those two got bugged. That's okay. Some bugs all around it seems. But it'll smoothen out. I have no doubt. A lot of taxis. We're seeing a lot of taxis. We're turning into New York City here with our yellow taxi cabs rolling around everywhere. Just letting time play just to see how this all, if there's any more bugged trams. So I don't think so. I think we're okay. So we'll give it some time. We'll look back on the area and see if things improved. How's traffic now? 76. Okay. It's not peak hours, but it's 76. We have our metro running underground. We'll see it come overground. Excited to see this. Just because I haven't seen it. There she is. Nice. Wow, going pretty fast. 113 on it. Love to see it. Is that a second one, or is this... No, it's just... The 500, I guess, probably has just two combined cars, actually. Nice. How many on the line? Just two. Two vehicles in total. 123 and 113. That's good to see. Wow, most people got off here, actually. Surprised. But still, it's still a cut down in traffic that are going to be using the toll booth and using the roundabout, so... It'll still accomplish the same goal. And people can come here to get to work. And thinking about it, they don't really have a great place to cross over. But if I built a crossing here, it would destroy the bus stops. I would need to have one just a little further down. Somewhere like here. Actually, this could be a crossing point. Maybe people can use that. Just so they can get over a bit easier. Could build a little... bridge would be difficult with all the buildings so close to the edge. Alright, good. Yeah, I'm surprised. It's the morning, so I'm just kind of curious to see. Will we see more people going towards work? So let's see. 18. Yeah, not many. I would have thought you'd get way more. Thought this was the whole main area. Maybe it's actually more people trying to get to kind of Butler and stuff. Not sure. 23 going back. Alright, well, I'm sure it'll scale over time, especially when we build up the industry there. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do today, should be quick, is just building out this area a little bit more. So, I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw down another town hostel. Slam it down right there. Increase these prices. Okay, and we'll have to give them everything they need. So we're going to have to put in more office blocks and things like that here. So let's copy this road. Now, the question is, how much space do we come in by? Probably about there. Oh yeah, I guess that gives us the even amount on the other side. Let's turn on. What I mean by that is zoning. So the zoning is even the whole way. Something like that. Yeah. And then, what can we do with that? So I suppose the zoning's all messed up now. That's better. And it shouldn't affect this anymore. These should be okay still, even though they're not zoned. It's kind of a strange thing in the game. I wonder how it's going to be handled in Skylines 2. Because I don't mind that certain buildings want to be built next to the road, but they don't allow being built next to the road unless they have zoning options, you know? But then they added in a recent update to this game, you can have roads without zoning. But then buildings don't attach to them. So it's a bit messy. A little inconsistent, I would say. I would just sink this road down just ever so slightly. Okay, so, what could we do here? Offices, I would say. Offices, offices, offices. I just feel like... Okay, I got another idea. Give me a pathway, please. Turn off the grid, don't need it. Pathway that wraps around there, continues through to here. That creates a little bit of a smaller zoning breakaway point. Yeah, okay, I just got confused with something for a second, but it's okay. Let's start to pave this in now. So I'm just going to do a 3x3. We'll come down here. So I don't want them to be massive, massive buildings. I want them to be a little smaller, so I'm zoning them to be a bit smaller. But it is ultimately going to be all offices. Alright, we'll see who moves in. 462 workers seems fine. Another 462, they're going to be the same. Although when they upgrade to level 2, they might be smaller. 12, that's more like it. So these guys actually want shopping and they want nature and offices. And they should have all that now. Yeah, business is low for them. But once these offices come in, they should be a bit happier with that. So we can reinstate the pathway that I removed a while ago, which is down here. This is actually a very popular path before. It was used quite frequently. I'll just try to join this up as well. And not that you really need it, but I suppose you could just join this area too. Okay, and you're gonna need a crossing point. Right where that path is. Probably another one where that one is. Which could slow down people getting onto this road, I guess, but we'll see. Alright, cool. So let's just get some trees and decorate the place just a bit better. It should be okay. Still in from the trees, I think. And why not? Another path at the back here. Why the hell not? Alright, leave time playing. That's going to be pretty much it for this episode, I think. We'll just wait for these guys to kind of come in. And we'll then look back on all our work. It's a nice feel-good episode, I think, today. No major issues. Yet. Alright, we just nudge all that stuff back in. So yeah, we've all this kind of area to work with here. I don't really know what to do with that. Don't really want to zone it. A little bit of housing, maybe, could fit in there. So maybe. It's just kind of close to the road. I didn't really think that they'd want to do that. Alright, let's let time play. See these people move in. So 462, these are big buildings. But they might upgrade, and they are going to upgrade right now. Change into something else. How are these guys doing now? So the popularity has just increased massively. 85%. So if we have a look, we're getting pretty close. The average is 75% happiness. We need 5,000 weekly profit for our hotels before we get the next batch that we can use. Still have ideas for certain ones. Actually, there was one I looked at that would have been perfect here. It was a roadside motel. Yeah, still kind of would be perfect. If I shifted that down, we could maybe use that. Because they want things like business and office and all this kind of commerce, and it's all right across the road from them. So I was thinking there would be perfect, but I didn't really factor the... Well, I suppose you could have something even down on this side. Just push that path further back in, maybe. But I don't know, it kind of ruins the look of Butler, having a motel there. I feel like across the road made the most sense, but now the track is sort of in the way. So I could, maybe, depending on what people say on this one, push this down just a little further, put the motel in here, and the track would just wrap around the back of it. Which for a motel, I think is fine. So yeah, let me know what you think of that. Be tempted to do it. Be nice to have a motel in somewhere, or think of other locations for them, I suppose. Yeah, and just to cover up that weird hill that we have there, I really can't do much about it. I thought about it before the episode as well. Just put trees on it. And you don't have to see it. Alright, let's take a little view of what we've done. So, we'll go back to our original area. This one. Media broadcast building in place. Traffic largely removed, I would say. Smoothened out for sure. Our hospital, our hospital, as they say in Gaelic. Irish language, that is. High capacity fire. Never going to need it. I touch wood. Yeah, area's looking spiffy. Looking nice. Overkill maybe on the car park so far, but maybe not in future. We'll see. And our taxi area is doing well as well. And having that be a one-way, just you can only take a right turn, that seems to have worked out pretty well. Do have a lot of taxis moving out though, I guess, depending on the time of day. A lot of people still down here. I think we need to set up again just more of these traffic light situations where we give time for people to cross, because that's the main reason people slow down, right? You got to slow down for people crossing all the time. It's too chaotic. You have to guide that a bit better. Trams are running okay though. Metro stops are doing just fine. And yeah, we got to start thinking about how we're going to fill up all this space next. I know we've been very granular with just like 2 little pockets there and an overground station, but it'd be nice to do a bigger district now next time. But also, still got to do this. And we got to do ferries. Oh my god, there's so much to do. Stadiums, festivals. Lots of stuff I want to play around with. Alright, yeah, super happy with this. It's actually just come along very, very nicely. I didn't expect the traffic to get reduced to the extent it has, so I'm very pleased with that. And then we have our busy tram stop here, as well as the metro station, people cutting through here. Pathway along the side here. Pathway along the side there. Pathway around the back of these houses. Some of the houses are upgrading. What's the population now? It's still, oh, it's 40,300. Yeah, I guess it's just been kind of consistent around that number. There's probably a glut of missing jobs though. Yeah, we're at 1% unemployment, so I guess next is just filling in more and more houses in certain places. Actually, yeah, some of them have a big demand, but not too bad. These buildings seem a bit more reasonable than what they were before as well. 345. They look nice. Alright, I think that's going to have to be it. I look forward to seeing what people think about this episode. And just really quickly, we could check 74. No change, really. It does seem like we lighten the load in certain areas, though. I think so. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I'd like to get that number up to 80. But generally speaking, I'm fairly happy with how traffic is flowing. I think I just need to put some of those traffic rules and timed lights on certain high density, what's the word, like high usage junctions. And then other than that, I think we'll be fine. Especially as we spread more out this way. Alright, that's going to have to be it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.